Before the First Age, Melkor was the first to learn of the awakening of the elves. He soon began sending evil spirits among the elves who planted seeds of doubt against the Valar. It is also rumored that some of the elves were being captured by a rider if they strayed too far, and it was believed that these unfortunate elves were brought to Utumno, where they were cruelly tortured and twisted into orcs. In the First Age, thousands of orcs were bred in Angband by Morgoth and to participate in the battles of Beleriand, which lasted 587 years. They first appeared in the Battle of Falmouth, where they were defeated by the Noldor. When the House of Fëanor returned to the Middle-earth, Morgoth sent a force of orcs against them. Although the orcs outnumbered the exiles, they were no match for the power of the wrath of the Noldor, and were quickly and easily defeated. However, Fëanor could not defeat the power of Morgoth alone, and he was killed by Balrogs, leaving the orcs to continue to breed under the Dark Lord. Years later, when the House of Fingonfil arrived in Middle-earth, orcs were sent against them as well, but they were utterly defeated in the Battle of the Lammoth. After their crushing defeat in the Dragor Aglareb and in a minor raid on Hithom, the orcs nevertheless regained their numbers. In the Dragor Bragollach and Nirnaeth Arnoedad, they and their master won crushing victories against the Free Peoples. However, they were nearly destroyed in the War of Wrath, and those that survived fled eastwards into the mountains of Angmar, the Grey Mountains and the Red Mountains. Sometime around Second Age 1000, Sauron reappeared in Middle-earth and made the land of Mordor his realm, and then started to build the foundations of Barad-dûr during the War of the Elves and Sauron in Second Age 1700. The orcs formed the main host of Sauron's power. Despite the immeasurable number of orcs present, the battle was won by the elves and the Numerians, due to their united force, superior weaponry, greater strength, stature, and combat skill. However, Sauron had not been able to gather all the eastern orcs into his armies, as the first that snorted him, not realizing their fair Anachar was Sauron. It was only after his first defeat that Sauron went among the Dark Guise and thus be able to begin rebuilding his power. Until Sauron's final downfall in the Third Age, orcs remained the backbone of the armies of Mordor and of Isengard when Saruman ruled it. In the Third Age, after the War of the Last Alliance, Mordor was desolate and the surviving orcs were concentrated in the Misty Mountains. With the return of Sauron to Dol Guldur and the spread of his evil influence, their numbers began to increase once more. In Third Age 2475, at the ending of the Watchful Peace, a new, tougher, strong breed of orc appeared, the Black Uruks, specifically bred for fighting men. Following the abandonment of Khazad-dûm by the dwarves, orcs eventually colonized the abandoned halls, killing King Thror when he sought to enter his lost realm. This triggered the War of the Dwarves and the Orcs, a massive conflict where the dwarves gathered their full strength and destroyed every orc stronghold they could find in the Misty Mountains. This and the Battle of Five Armies greatly reduced the number of northern orcs, weakening their contribution to the War of the Ring. In the meantime, Sauron had returned to Mordor, rebuilding his fortress and creating a vast army of orcs. His thrall, Saruman, also created the Uruk-hai, a breed of orcs stronger than any seen before. Following the destruction of the One Ring, the orcs scattered, eventually dwindling and being hunted to extinction in the Fourth Age.